Welcome to Arc Automotive Review. Um, this is a new channel. I just started this channel. Today's video will be about kind of the background of the channel and what I'll be covering, discussing, and like how I'll be interacting with you guys throughout this channel and what I hope to accomplish by starting this channel. Um, One of the biggest reasons I started this channel is because I love God and I love the automotive industry in general. I've grown up loving cars. I love trucks. I've loved tinkering on things and learning. I've a little bit about my background. I've worked for the largest rental car organization in the United States. Worked for the biggest player in the camper van industry, and I've worked for one of the largest publicly traded Fortune 500 automotive companies that the United States has to offer. So that's a little bit of background about me. Kind of one of my roles that I was last doing in the automotive industry was I was essentially a fraud and compliance analyst, looking at internal concerns for our company, looking at concerns that were coming out from manufacturers and how to mitigate the risk to our company and the costs associated with that, as well as looking at different things like monthly and quarterly inventories, reconciling them, and also participating in some financial transactions, essentially acquisitions, and also divestitures of different stores for our company as well. So that's just a quick, background about kind of my work history in the automotive industry and what I've been doing for this channel. Essentially, what I'm looking to do is to bring quality content to you guys that will resonate with you. Those that like the automotive industry, I'm trying to essentially create a community where we can we can discuss anything automotive related. A lot of these, news topics and what you see in the video right now, short form, and that's probably where I'll be for the time being. I'm looking forward to posting at least, once a day on these news topics, or different ways to purchase vehicles, different ways to essentially get prices down on vehicles you may be interested in, what to look for in buying a car, some of the resources available to us as consumers, and some of the fraud and the tricks that kind of happen as well on contracts, and just to help you guys better understand the buying process and what you're looking for, and make a better decision ultimately on what you're getting. So, but yeah, that's a little bit about me. That's a little bit about the channel and how I see us going forward. For today, just want to keep it brief. So, as I was reading, looking for news, this is something that struck me as interesting a couple of days ago. GM recalls 462,000 diesel models due to possible rear wheel lockup. Um, Personally, I'm a GM fan. I've loved GM vehicles, Chevys, GMCs, Cadillacs. It doesn't really matter. I've always really loved these vehicles. Loved them since I was a kid. So I always typically look out for information, especially in the truck section. I feel like there's a lot of missed opportunity to talk about these newer trucks, especially diesels with the emission issues and um, kind of things to look for, to avoid, how to best service these vehicles. I think there's a lot of information that's left to be desired. So this partially why I also started this channel as well. So we'll get right into it. So this recall, GM announces, which customers, they've been waiting for an answer on these 10L80 transmissions for a while. There's been a lot of controversy around some of the things going on with these new trucks, especially with the transmissions and the valve bodies. So I'm glad that GM finally issued a recall. Normally recalls aren't issued until the manufacturer sees that there's a reason to issue a recall. In this case, there's a lot of vehicles having issues, and so GM said, it's likely due to their position with these vehicles and their consumer, their brand loyalty and the consumer. Um, that they serve, they probably thought it was the best idea to issue a recall on these rigs. So GM went ahead, said, hey, we're gonna recall these vehicles for these issues. At least we'll check them and see if there's anything that we can fix while we're checking them. So again, GM recalling all these vehicles, about 500,000 vehicles, 500,000 vehicles almost, full-size trucks and SUVs with the diesel powertrains due to a faulty transmission valve that can cause the rear wheels to lock up. So this is affecting all 2020 to 2022 models, models like the Silverado, Tahoe, Suburban, Sierras, Yukons, Escalades, all those models. So it looks like they say the issue can be fixed by installing new software for the transmission control module, the TCM. Um, Essentially, this Car and Driver article is going through this exact kind of the exact issue that consumers have been dealing with, the fix, and kind of what GM is saying this why this part's defective in their case in their study. They believe that the defective valve can fail, causing the rear wheels to lock up. There's an increased risk of crashing. So here's the recall. It's a safety issue. GM recognized it, and this is where we're at. So I want to stop for a second. We'll talk about this blue link that's listed on the video. So this blue link is the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the NHTSA. So this is a site commonly used by a lot of people. A lot of dealerships use this. I use this, a lot when I was working. And essentially, what we use this link for is to find. We use vehicle VINs and we input the VIN into their database system, and essentially, if the vehicle has a recall, it'll pop up once you put your VIN in. It'll say what the recall is, and the recall like code. They have different codes depending on if the manufacturer releases it, or if there may be a different name under a third party, a different code or sequence of numbers and letters and such. So, but essentially they're the same thing. So just look out for that. Um, and if your vehicle is not affected, likely there won't be a recall noted as you input your VIN. It's always good to check. Most of the time, if you take your vehicle to get serviced at a dealership, one of the first things that they will do as well is they'll put your VIN in and they'll search for recalls, just to look out for you as your car's already brought in for service, so you don't have to waste time. At least most good dealerships with good service departments, they'll try and do that for you as your vehicle's getting serviced. So that's what that website is. Just a quick breakdown on that. And so it looks like this article talks about some of the models, the pickup lineup, anything from the 3-liter Duramax, the 6.6 liter. Looks like both Chevy and GMC, as well as their SUV lineup, whether it's Cadillac, GMC, or Chevy with the 3-liter Duramax. So really, that seems like that's all this article has to say. Kind of just some of the news coming out about this recall. GM says that tells consumers to bring their vehicle in, where new software will be installed for the TCM. They'll provide a special coverage program so the repair will be completed free of charge. So owners will be notified by December 9th of 2024, so not too much longer. So about just less than a month from today. Today's the 16th. This article came out on the 14th. So GM owners, look out for a recall on your pickup or your SUV. They'll do a TCM update, is what it seems like, and that should take care of the issue. We'll see if that's the actual issue or not. They're saying it's a software issue. Many people think it's a mechanical issue, and so we'll just have to see what the next steps are for GM, whether this TCM software update will actually fix the issue or if it'll make it worse and cause more catastrophic issues or potential crashes, um, which is interesting. So in my position, I looked at a lot of these recalls on vehicles, and I mean, at a dealership level for a large company, your job is to go through a specific dealership's inventory and see how many of their vehicles have these recalls on the lot, whether they've been fixed or not, whether the manufacturer's issued a stop sale, essentially stopping the sales of all vehicles due to a certain issue that could be really life-threatening. So in this case, GM believes that this rear wheel lockup essentially can cause death, and so they're issuing a mass recall, um, trying to keep their customer base happy, trying to keep those that are brand loyal happy. And it's good to see a company finally step forward on something that's been an issue and has been discussed for the last few years but never really solved. So good on GM for doing that. This is something that I think I look at when I'm purchasing a vehicle, or if I'm a business owner and I've got to have rigs that are going to work, and I'm going to look for companies that take care of their customer, issue recalls when things are wrong, and they make it right, and they get you in as fast as possible. I think at this point in time, we're dealing with more and more shortages on parts, and labor and service is, in some places, it's not as great as others. So there's definitely more challenges. We saw challenges during COVID with getting parts in and shipping and delays, and a whole host of issues. So here we are, ending 2024, going into 2025. Um, so, but good on GM, starting to see the automotive industry. It's normalizing to a point. We'll see where it goes in a couple of months. We'll see where it goes in January when a new president uh, takes a seat, and see what happens with the market and all these type of things that actually really affect the automotive industry. So anyway, guys, if any of this information was helpful, uh, please like, subscribe, leave a comment. I'd like to engage with you guys. So that just helps me out, helps me get to know you guys, and kind of look to see what kind of content that you guys would like covered. But anyway, thank you, and I'll see you on the next one.